Hello, this is Shalimar Steinberg, and today's video is going to be regarding our external reference assignment. So we're going to start by downloading our title block, and I'm going to open that in AutoCAD. And it's going to take just a second here. Okay, I've opened it up. I'm going to move my command bar to the top so people can see it more easily. And I'm going to quickly change my options to the ones that I like. I'm going to have it saved to an earlier version so it's easier for people to open. I'm going to turn on my right-click as Enter, get rid of the view cube, and get rid of the lasso. And I'm going to apply that and say OK. Now, I'm going to go back into Moodle and I'm going to download and save this image file of Charnel Mulligan Park. So if I right-click on it, I can save image as, and I'm going to leave the name the same and just put it in my L drive. Mine already exists, but you'll be saving it new. And then I am going to close this drawing and go into AutoCAD. Here in AutoCAD, I'm going to go to Insert, and we're looking at the section here that says References. So we're going to be doing an external reference that we attach. So I'm going to go up here to where it says Attach Reference, and I'm going to click on that. Now I'm going to where I have that file saved, which is right here. It's this one. And I'm going to click on that and say Open. Now it's going to give me some options. It gives me a little preview, and it has a path type, and I can choose relative path or full path. And basically what that says is where it is saved. You need to have it saved into the same folder as your drawing file. So make sure when you save as with your drawing file that you save it in the same folder that you have the image saved in. And I'm going to leave it as it is. Insertion point, I can either specify it on screen or unclick that and tell it specific coordinates. I'm going to let the scale come in as is, but I can say specify on screen, or in this case I'm going to have it come in at 1:1 for right now. And then I can have it come in rotated if I want, or specify that on screen. So I'm going to say OK, and it's going to say where do you want to specify it. The insertion point, if I just hit Enter, it's going to put it in at 0, 0, which I might as well. And then I can zoom extents to get to where that is. And I now have the picture of my drawing. If I go and look at my layers, I can see that it might have brought in some layers with it. It didn't for this one because there weren't drawn layers in this since it's not a DWG file. Now I'm going to go into my layer manager, and I actually forgot to create an Xref layer, so this just came in on whatever layer I had at the time, which was dimensions. So I am going to create an Xref layer, and I'm going to leave that with the default settings and say OK, and then I'm going to select it and you have to select the little frame around it, and I'm going to move it to that Xref layer. Okay. Now I have the ability to draw on this object anything that I want to. So I'm going to start by drawing an outline for the path that goes around the park, because that's where I'm wanting to start with mine. And I'm going to put that on my object layer. I could also create a path layer if I wanted to, and I'll create some layers for things like benches and trees, etc. as I draw them. So I can come in here and I can trace the boundaries of the park. I know that this park is butting up against an alley here. So the boundary of the park actually is here. This is the sidewalk alongside the park, so I want to stay within that. And it goes over to this fence line here that is up against a set of houses next to the park. The park goes all the way out. This is a table shelter, so it goes out just past that to here. There's a sidewalk right there. And you're seeing that it will allow me to snap to the edges of the frame here. And I'm going to go ahead and make mine basically an actual rectangle, although the image, because of the way that it's shifted just slightly off, isn't actually a rectangle. And then I can just offset this line in if I want to, however many feet I want my path to be. So I'm just going to use units, and I may find that I have to scale things a little differently based on what size my actual drawing came in at. So for now I'm going to say 1 and see how wide that ends up being. Okay, so that ends up being really wide for this picture. So I might want to scale my drawing up as I bring it in. But basically what I'm going to do then is continue through and add paths, trees, playground equipment, and everything in my remodeled viewpoint, so the way that I want this park to look. And then I'll save it and turn it in. For anyone who wants to, you can type AD Center or ADC, and that's going to bring up the Design Center. It has the word sample highlighted and this folder is open. If I click the little plus next to ENUS and then next to Design Center, I get to some of the block libraries that are included in AutoCAD. I can go to the landscaping one here and click on blocks, and you can see that there are some different blocks that it has available. I could do shrubs, trees. I basically want to keep to the things that are aerial views probably for right now, because that's the view that I'm looking at my drawing in. And so I might say I want a clump of trees, and I can either double click on this and it will give me the insert screen, and I can choose the insertion point and the scale that I want it to come in at, or I could just drag it into my drawing over here. And what you're seeing is that it comes in really big, so I would probably have to scale it down in order to get it to fit. And I must have just brought in part of it. That's interesting. Okay, so the easiest way to do it is just going to be go like this, and scale I'm going to specify on screen, because that way I can then drag it in at the size that I want. I can scale it up or down when I click on it and make it the size that I actually want it to be by just coming in. So right now it's at 1. I'm going to put it in at like 0.125. And then it says, okay, where do you want it to go? Okay. Let's try that again. It did not want to come in. So specify insertion point or base point. And my system is freezing. But this normally works fine, and you will be able to bring it in as necessary. Alright, so that is it for the assignment, and I will talk to you later.